Right, Cricbuzz Chatter once again with Shaun Pollock, or Polikaka as everybody calls him in India, at the end of day 3 of this test match. We thought for a while that it might be the last day, but South Africa hung on even if by the skin of their teeth. And you got the feeling more and more, and I asked you this before, whether in their minds they're already in Joburg and Durban and Cape Town and PE.
Yeah, I don't think South Africa mentally on a great space, and that's what happens when a team's feeling a little bit vulnerable, they're behind the 8 ball, they're not playing great cricket. If you start an innings badly, it has a bit of a snowball effect, and we've seen South Africa would have been almost 10 for 2 in both innings in this test match so far. The fast bowlers from India have been superb, put them under immense pressure, and there hasn't been much of a rearguard action. And to be honest, what were we expecting? Well, Hamza was pretty good. At his first outing, he showed us a little bit of fight, and that there's no scar in there, and he played with a bit of freedom. So he was pretty good. But from the rest of them, it's been a difficult tour, and none of them were really able to get going.
There was one stat that South African fans wouldn't want to see, but that tells a story. I've always felt that the new ball in Indian conditions is not as important as it is in, say, in South Africa or in England or Australia. New ball's far more effective, and yet South Africa's opening partnership averaged 4.83 for the series. So the new ball's done its job.
Yeah, it's done its job immensely well. India have been on target, and there hasn't been much respite. I think in Pune there were 2 bad starts, and obviously Markham didn't last very long.
Quinton de Kock.
Yeah, Quinton de Kock at the top of the order, so that experiment hasn't worked all that well for the South Africans. And we often talk in team meetings, and you, as a coach, you can sometimes become a bit cliche where you say, listen, that first 5 overs is so important, it sets the tone. But we've seen an example of it. India, they've got big scores up front when they've had an opportunity to bat, and the bowlers, every time they've taken that new ball, they've put South Africa under pressure. And when you get off to a good start like that, the spinners, whoever comes on after that, has got a bit more freedom to express themselves. So, yeah, credit's got to go to the Indian seamers.
I don't know if you noticed the searchlight. It's not someone coming searching for Polly. It's just that the team bus is on its way back into the hotel. What have the Indian Pacers done better than the South African Pacers? I mean, I realize Rabada apart, it's a very inexperienced pace side. There's no Donald Pollock, there's no Steyn and Teeny, all those big names. What have they done right?
I mean, Vernon's experience of the first 2 tests he played, I think they just understand their game plans. They understand what they have to do in that short space of time when they have that new ball, how to be effective, and the energy's been really good. You know, that as you watch them at the top of their run-up, there seems like an intent, and you feel that there's a self-belief that they're going to pick up wickets, and that's so vital. And the mental aspect of the game and the mental approach is really vital to make sure you have success.
Yeah, and start of the session is so important. 9 for 2, yes, South Africa wouldn't have slept well, but then that ball that got Faf, did the ball do enough? Did he just play down the wrong line? Because then we saw Quinton de Kock getting bowled, we saw Hamza getting bowled. Are they playing down the wrong line? Are they anticipating the ball doing too much? What's happening there?
I think it's almost a case of the balls just getting to them a little bit quickly, skidding on off the surface that they aren't being able to deal with it. And the slight bit of movement, every time it beats the bat, it's almost targeted at the stumps. So the lines have been really good from the Indian seamers. But I think South Africa would have not thought that it would have been the Indian seamers who would have put them under as much pressure as they have on this tour.
16 wickets. I mean, sometimes you can go downhill, and I've been on a lot of Indian tours overseas, where midway through the tour you realize, look, there are no comebacks here. And then the slide really gets very fast, and then the last test of the series, it just goes poof, gone. But something like that has happened here.
Yeah, whereas you look at in contrast to India, you can just see the confidence and the team spirit and the camaraderie and the effort in the fields, and everyone's in a good space. And it's just the nature of sport. Unfortunately, it's not just a skills game; it's a mental game as well. And the mental part can take its toll, and it has. And it's South Africa's series done after 2 tests. What was the chance of them fighting back? If they batted first, maybe got a big score, they was going to be competitive. But being put under pressure and then knocked over twice, it hasn't been a good tour, and a lot to think about for the next subcontinent tour.
Now, in the hot spot. South Africa in the hot spot. You, Polikaka, could you have done anything different?
I suppose in the commentary box, you're always thinking of ideas of what you could or couldn't do. It all goes down to preparation. You never know what's discussed behind the scenes. You never know what's discussed in the dressing room, what plans they're trying to put in place. But it just seems like at times South Africa have been a little bit deer in the headlights kind of approach. So I think maybe a more of a calmer approach. I think maybe putting the batting order in a different way might have contributed. But at the end of the day, I don't think it would have mattered who you put out there for South Africa at the moment. India have been that good.
Yeah, if I was in the hot spot, I don't know, I've not actually been in a cricket playing situation like that, but I'd look on everything as an opportunity and say, I know the team's going down, but can I make a statement here? I make a statement in difficult conditions. I go back to South Africa. Maybe I've got a chance. I thought Linda did that.
Yeah, I think Linda's started climbing. He's got 2 little scores. He's got 4 wickets in that innings. Hamza got a 60 in the Test match. Even Tennis de Bruyn, unfortunate injury to Dean Elgar means he was out of the Test match. Even Tennis wouldn't have thought he had another knock here in India. He's got out there, he's got himself to 30 and has a chance again tomorrow. So, yeah, you do have to look at it as an opportunity. You never know when you can impress and get that leap of faith behind you.
Now, fast forward, going up to the last day of the series. It's only day 4, just 2 wickets to be taken, loads of runs to be scored. What can South Africa do? What can India do? I think it's easier to look at it from a South African point of view. India turn up, doesn't matter who takes the 2 wickets. The fast bowlers have done well, the spinners have. And I'm thinking, if I'm Tennis de Bruyn, I've almost been thrown a George Linder, a line thrown at me, saying, I hang in there, I make this a 50, I go back, England are playing a big season at home, maybe I can win back my spot.
Yeah, I think it's a chance for him just to show what he can do. From an Indian perspective, if I'm Virat Kohli, I go to Shami, I say, listen, you've got 3 wickets here. Yeah. You start tomorrow, let's see if you can pick up 2 more and get a 5. I mean, he's been that good that he deserves the opportunity to try and pick up that milestone. I don't think South Africa can last a hell of a long time. They've got de Bruyn and 2 tail-enders at the crease, so we have to just see how it goes. But it shouldn't take very long. I think the way the Indian bowlers are bowled, if they're in the right space of mind when they've bowled their first thing tomorrow, they should be able to finish it quickly.
Even the famed PWA is not much good, the Poly Weather app.
It's been a shocker. No, but it says bright sunshine tomorrow, so there's a good chance of rain.
Yeah, there you go. We'll see what happens in day 4.